right now by himself, but we're going to enjoy it on this rainy Cinco de Mayo. We're doing something a little different here right now. I decided to go live today. So I wanted to try something new, see if we can get some new people involved. But yeah, well, we're just going to keep it pretty chill, keep it pretty laid back today. All we're going to talk about is the Champions League semifinals coming up this week. It is really big matches coming up for everyone involved. The Premier League just passed. MLS is back in full swing. NWSL has had a few interesting results happen over the weekend, but right now all eyes have to be on the Champions League semifinals for both PSG, Arsenal, as well as Inter Barcelona. Those are the big ones coming up today. So let's get right into it. If you guys hadn't seen my very impassioned speech outside of Fancy Free, shout out in Brooklyn, great Arsenal bar to go watch all of your games. Um, I just spoke a little bit about how PSG Arsenal, that match was pretty much predicated on everything that happened within the midfield. You had both. Um, you had a lot of things that were going against Arsenal. Thomas Partey, he decided to get that yellow card very foolishly against Real Madrid in that second leg, and that knocked him out. And in the midfield, we saw how tough it was going to be in that midfield without Partey kind of dictating lines of play, link up play. And our captain Martin Odegaard is just not. He's just having a rough go of it. So uh, what you really have to look out for if you are a person that's really caring about the matchup is how is Arsenal's midfield going to be able to combat PSG's midfield? There are a lot of small niggling things that are happening right now that have been coming out. You see some injuries on both sides right now. Arsenal is limping in a little bit harder than PSG, but Arsenal, Urian Timber as well as Martin Odegaard, they're both carrying knocks going into this Wednesday matchup. And then on the French side, you have Ousmane Dembele. He's carrying a knock right now in his hamstring, his quad area. So we'll see what happens. He was really instrumental. He scored the first goal within the first 4 minutes of the match, and that dictated the entire game. But once he even came out, they still had Barcola come off of the bench, and he was able to provide a spark. They have Goncalo Ramos. He also had a really good toe poke, almost got it over Raya for a second goal, which would have effectively killed the tie. I feel as though Arsenal still can go into this matchup knowing that, hey, we can still play pretty defensive and we can pick and choose our spots. PSG, they play the way that they need to play. They're always going to be a very strong attacking or counter-attacking side. They're always going to make sure to get it out onto the wings with Kvaratskhelia as well as Desiree Doué on the right wing. One thing that I did notice in that matchup as well was the wings. They decided to flip a few times against that matchup, but Kvaratskhelia, he had Urian Timber's number. One of the things that has been really big for Arsenal, which we said in our first preview match, uh, how you stop play on the wings was going to be really big. So what I'm seeing right now is it'll be a very interesting spectacle to say the least. I'm really rooting for that squad, and we'll see what they'll be able to do. PSG, even though they also lost on the weekend in their domestic league, they've had the League Un locked up for now about 2 months. So we'll see which really pushes through for them. I just can't feel. Uh, it feels like it's going to be a very interesting time for their entire squad to take a deep breath. Even though they lost that match, they still had their younger players being able to influence the match. So that was good for them if they ever needed to be called upon as a super sub for their matchup as well. Because Dembele is injured, supposedly, we'll see if anybody can kind of pick up the pieces for him in the middle of the park so that they can keep doing that high flying, counter attacking, super press style. One thing that PSG, their hugest X factor, well, they're two X factors. Donnarumma, the Italian goalkeeper, that man is He's a wall. He's a beast. Every time Saka has come close to any type of professional trophy, albeit for club or country, Donnarumma has been the boogeyman that's just been staring right back at him, saying, "We're not doing this today." We can only hope and pray. We as Arsenal fans around the world, just got to keep making sure that you pepper the goalkeeper. You can get him into some very awkward spaces with our set pieces. We'll see what some of these guys can do, but that is their first X factor. And the second one is João Neves. That man in the midfield, he just commanded it like a boss. I had previously stated like that was the matchup that we really needed to see how their midfield combat against Arsenal's midfield. And boy, can I tell you, João Neves just bossed up and down the midfield. Declan, he had to play in the sixth role, which is the more holding midfielder role. And it was a very tough time for him, especially because he had been within that left sided eight midfield role where he could go back and forth, be able to influence the game in both offense and defense. When he didn't have his road dog Partey, just be able to chill back and take a step back to be able to do it. It was going to be buns anyway. So uh, those are the main points that I'm seeing. What I'm going to call out for this matchup, I'm thinking Arsenal are going to be able to get this match to 2-1. So it'll be 2-2 on the aggregate. I feel as though it'll go into extra time, into penalties, and Arsenal will be able to take it in PKs. But that is what we're trying to do over here at Dim Boys Watch Philly. We're trying to give a little bit of love and a little bit of support for these squads moving forward. All right. For our next up, we're going to be talking about Barcelona versus Inter. Oh my god. That matchup ended 3-3. As we talked about it this past week, it was going to be uh, a very interesting sight to behold. Without Robert Lewandowski, it was going to be a very difficult matchup. Trying to really spring forth and get these people to come out and be able to attack, uh, actually get enter into some very interesting spaces. One thing I was not seeing was Dumfries being able to score two like world class goals. One with a overhead bicycle kick, and the other was just a very good shot on goal that actually trickled in. And um, you weren't expecting Inter to go up 3-2, and then suddenly the fact that it just went 3-3 almost immediately from a wonder strike from Rafinha. That ball was buzzing when he shot that on net. So one thing that I did call for the draw. I called for a 2-2 draw, not a 3-3 draw. So anybody that was banking on that, we still had everybody push both teams to score. That was what we did call, right? What we didn't call was the ascension of Yamal to even godlier tier status for a 17-year-old kid being able to do the things that he was able to do. Couldn't believe the type of match he just put on his shoulders. He decided to dip, dive, dodge, duck, and dodge. If anybody is a fan of dodgeball out here, but he was moving all around the pitch. He had that ball on a string laced up to his boot. It was very great to see how amazing he is at being able to contort, shift around, and be able to take a really strong piece into pushing forward on how he moves around the pitch, how he gets into goal contributing factors, assists, being able to put shots on target, things like that. So yeah, I'm thinking more of the same, especially now that it is going to be in Italy. You're going to have a very tough matchup for Barcelona. They did just get a knock. Gavi went down for his hamstring in this weekend's game that Barcelona was able to win. But I'm very worried about that midfield engine. Him and Pedri kind of just held it down. Gavi is a really big engine midfielder. He's able to just keep pushing forward when you think that nobody has a chance to keep moving. He'll get through some tight spaces and be able to lay some passes. So, Frankie De Jong, we are looking at you. You've been able to kind of sit in the cut and let these two Spanish kids be able to take over in the midfield, and Gavi and Pedri. And you've kind of been the least talked about man, but Frankie De Jong, we got to see something from you, brother. You've been the constant attack from every Barcelona fan's wildest nation. Like everybody was trying to sell you after you signed that really big money move from Ajax all of those years ago, and the amount of times that you were linked over to Manchester United in these years was insane. You got through it, and you've been able to kind of hone in that midfield. But we'll see what happens this upcoming Tuesday. I really feel as though this is where you kind of stamp your mark as a Catalonia alum, really pushing forward within the Champions League legend and lore for all great midfielders that are from Barcelona, that are from the Netherlands. So we'll see how that really moves forward with you. And then on Inter side, uh, they are having a rough go of it, even though they had a really amazing week last week. I'm still Their defense is not as good as they had been in previous years. Even though Barcelona was able to crawl, they were able to crawl back every time. Every time Inter went up, they went up 2-0. Suddenly Barcelona decided to say, "Oh, we're going to take the training wheels off," and 2-1 turned into 2-2, just like that, in a blink of an eye. Very big, quick flash pan moment. And one thing that I was able to see and really enjoy from the Inter side is, although Martinez Lautaro, he came off injury, even though Taremi was not as good as his hold up play that Lautaro does, but they were still able to keep moving forward and keep pushing forward against a very good Barcelona team. They have their spots where they're weak, but I feel as though Barcelona and Inter's matchups on the wing play, Yamal is always going to get the love, and we'll see what happens with the Inter defense, especially with Bastoni. He has to stand up because he can't have a bad game like he did this upcoming Tuesday, or it is curtains for that squad. So yeah, in summer. We'll see how you stand up as well. I did see that Ter Stegen for Barcelona came back from injury, but I feel as though he would be rushed back way too quickly for this huge of a match upcoming this Tuesday, especially with Chesney playing as well as he had been playing. He had a few shaky moments, but he was able to still be a sweeper keeper in some aspects. So if we can get a Wojak Chesney versus Arsenal final from Barcelona, as well as the 2005 2006 Champions League final rematch, where Barcelona was able to nick it in the end. With Samuel Eto'o scoring that goal to take it through, we'll see what happens. Anything is possible, but I still believe that even though Barcelona is playing on the road in this matchup and they do have a few injuries going into this matchup, I still feel as though Barcelona is going to be able to take it. I feel it's going to be a little bit. It might not be as high scoring, but both teams are going to score. I definitely feel as though both teams are going to score in that matchup. It's no way. It's just way too good attacking teams. Turan, that man needs to stay on side. I know that Barcelona plays extremely high press, but that man needs to either hustle back or be able to play off of the wings. We'll see what really pushes forward for them, but I feel as though it'll be a 3-2 match. I feel Barcelona are going to be able to nick it. We'll be able to see with that. So that is our Champions League coverage. Now let's get over to our Europa League coverage. So you have two English teams that are currently within the lower rungs of the Premier League right now, 15th and 16th, respectively. Or I think they might have gone lower since Manchester United lost this past weekend. But they are in European semifinals themselves. You have Manchester United versus Athletic Club Bilbao, and you have Bodø Glimt from Norway versus Tottenham, both happening at the same time this Thursday. Now, Athletic Club, they're down 3-0. We'll see what Nico Williams can do, or his brother Inaki Williams. But Nico, you just won the Euros with Spain. It was you and Yamal that really put your names on the map. So everybody's looking at you. You have to be the one to be able to keep stepping up and keep pushing forward. I know you have a little bit of some knocks, but people are looking at you now. You did the impossible, being one of the two youngest to really push for a nation to win another championship in Spain. But um, you on the wings, everybody's looking at you to be able to potentially ask Athletic Bilbao to be able to buy. to bring you over to their project, to their club. And then we'll see how that moves forward. You also have the chance to be able to play in front of your home stadium for the final because the Europa League final is in Bilbao this year. So 3-0. Manchester United's defense is very suspect. I'm very surprised that you guys weren't able to score on that squad, especially with Manchester United's matchup this past weekend. But we'll be able to see how you can really stand up in this matchup. 3-0. I it's going to be tough because Bruno Fernandez has been playing out of his mind. He's been playing otherworldly for Manchester United. He was able to score two, and then be just about everywhere in this previous matchup. So Harry Maguire somehow just became Maguire Dino on the wings. We'll see. We'll see really how that pushes forward. But Manchester United, they put themselves in very strong position. When you win 3-0 on the road, that means that you are ready to go. Keep moving forward. Manchester United also keeps saying about how they are all of their fans. TC, I'm looking at you. Um, oh yeah, we are undefeated in Europe. So put some respect on our name. I'm like, fair play to you. It is very difficult to get anywhere within Europe, and you only have draws to look at it. Draws and wins. And even though this season has been quite tumultuous, the fact that you are having a chance to go into a European final, it's kudos to the squad. It's what Manchester United does. They just win things, and um, it's tough to watch as an opposing fan, but you got to respect it in these days. But as much as I would love to call the Cinderella comeback for Athletic Club, I will go with Manchester United being able to keep pushing this through. I say that Manchester United are going to go through. They're going to lose the match 3-1, but they're going to go through an aggregate 4-3. That is my call for this Thursday. And then as well on the other side, Tottenham versus Bodø Glimt. Right now in Norway, the biggest thing that people are going to be worrying about is how cold it is in Norway, especially 3 p.m. Eastern. So that would be around like a 8-9 p.m. matchup over in Norway, and it's going to be cold still. we'll see. We'll see what really pushes forward in that matchup. Tottenham, they just heard back that James Madison, he's going to be out. He has an MCL sprain, so it's going to be tough for their squad. Tottenham didn't have all of their players for very long stretches of the year, and even though they went up 3-0 in their matchup, they gave Bodo Glimt hope. Bodo Glimt scored a consolation goal at the end of that, but we know aggregate plays a huge role into how you move forward. And I'm not saying that I'm the biggest Tottenham fan, but what I am saying, Bodo Glimt, it is please stand up. I do not need Tottenham to come and have a chance to be able to do anything within this matchup. I'm really enjoying how I'm enjoying that the Premier League is getting their love within Europe right now. For so long, everybody said the Premier League was the best league in the world, and for long periods of time, it was not. But you see just how much money is really placed into these squads, and it's very hard for other clubs to compete against. And the fact that within Europe, you still have these large clubs looming over them with a chance, even though domestically they're having the worst seasons ever. Tottenham has a chance to go to 20 losses within the Premier League, which is almost unfathomable, but still possible. But even with that consolation goal, Bodo Glimt, I'm hopeful that they make it spicy. I feel as though Bodo Glimt, if they score within the first 20 minutes, get it to 3-2 on aggregate, Tottenham might find a way. Because for large periods of that match, I was worried. Romero, the Argentine World Cup winning center back, he has been looking all out of sorts. And even though Bodo Glimt's striking team is not the strongest, they were giving him fits. Mickey Van der Ven always sweeping up with his speed. He was able to close some things down, and they made it very comfortable over in London for Tottenham to get a very comfortable 3-0 lead. But hey, Tottenham, it's the history of Tottenham. This is what they do. They give you hope and then they take it away. Still don't know how people are fans of that squad, but I can't can't hate on anybody's fandom. Uh, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Bodo Glimt will probably score within those first 20 minutes. It'll get a little bit spicy, but it'll end up being a 2-1 Bodo Glimt win. But Tottenham move forward, and we're going to have a Premier League, Europa League final. So it'll be Manchester United versus Tottenham. We'll see how that moves forward. And then finally, we have to give some conference league some love right now, just because it's been very interesting to see how these squads are kind of shaping up. You have Fiorentina versus Real Betis. Fiorentina, big shout out for PJ. That's his Italian squad right there. Real Betis over in Spain. Anthony on loan from Manchester United has really made it known like, yo, I'm actually good at playing football. It's just the Premier League was just not the space for me. There was not enough space for him to work on the wings. And now that his confidence are back up, you actually see the player that Manchester United spent £100 million for. So it's been very interesting to see that transformation for them. Real Betis. I feel as though I feel bad for David De Gea. They have a really strong chance to move forward. Moise Keane, the striker from Italy. I really want him to move forward. We'll see how this plays out, especially with Real Betis winning that last matchup 2-1. Um, but anything could happen in this match. I'm not super familiar with the squads. I'm bigger with the names on their squads. Moise Keane and Anthony, those are the big X factors for that matchup. I'm gonna go with a, seeing as though it is in Fiorentina in Italy. Real Betis. Anthony has just been lighting it up. Isco is also on that squad. You have Hector Bellerin. Uh, yeah, let's go with the Real Betis. They're gonna win that matchup 3-2. They're gonna win that game 3-2 on this Thursday. And then you have Chelsea, another Premier League team. They're right now just beat the Premier League champions this past weekend. Even though people are saying like, oh, like I want to hear what I'm going to have to say about this. I have a bunch of Chelsea friends that are kind of being able to move forward and talk about this, but same time, I'm like, huh, you guys beat a team that had been partying for a week straight. Does this really count? So we'll see how that really pushes forward. Chelsea versus Djurgården. They are from. Are they a Swedish team? I have no idea. Yep, Swedish side. So, learning new things every day. You got new squads coming into it. Hey, I'm glad that they at least had a chance. They did lose that matchup 4-1, and it was very tough. Palmer didn't play. They had Madweke playing striker up front. You have a bunch of Reece James playing midfield still for them, and in this competition. Uh, it's been a very weird herky jerky year for Chelsea. They're finally getting it to the point where they're like, okay, we're getting to what we need, which is getting to a European Cup trophy and getting Champions League football. So I'm going to do much of the same for Chelsea. I'm going to say it'll probably be a 2-2 all draw. Uh, I I feel as though Chelsea may take their foot off the gas, but they have very good leadership within Reece James. As long as he's not injured, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, very surprising how good they've been as a partnership in the midfield together. Um, and then most likely you're going to see like Dewsbury Hall, just a lot of their B team coming out to play. So I'll give them a 2-2 all draw with Chelsea moving forward to play against Real Betis within that final. And yeah, that is our going to be our show. Seeing as though it is just me today, it is going to be nice, quick, and sweet. Hope everybody that gave us a listen today enjoyed. It's Dem Boys Watch Footy. Y'all have a great one.